Hey everyone, welcome back to my garden. Today we are working on a new project. So last weekend I finished enlarging my last raised bed, and my landscaper came in and filled my 4 newly enlarged raised beds with a mix of topsoil and compost. Today I'm going to reorganize where I'm going to put my plants based on lessons learned from last year. One thing as gardeners that we do is we learn after every growing season what worked, what didn't, what we can do better. And what I learned last year was what plants do best in certain spaces in my yard, whether it's based on their sunlight needs, how big they get, if they like hanging out with other plants or need their own space. And so these are things that I've brought to this year's garden. For example, this is my hot pepper bed, and I'm actually going to move it that away into this bed next door. I'm going to move it because the sun hits this bed first. When it gets super hot this summer, I'm going to put shade cloth over the entire garden, and this bed will get the most sunshine all day long. And so the hot peppers are going to live here because they love heat. One thing I think that is really important is that we normalize the fact that our gardens are going to change. It's okay to learn the hard way that certain crops do better in different spaces. Like sometimes that's just how we learn. The pepper plants didn't do badly here. You can see I've still got peppers ripening. There are still peppers growing. So they did really well. I've got a bunch of cayenne peppers growing. I've got a bunch of flowers coming in. And so it did well here, but I think it will do better in the bed next door. So I'm going to carefully dig these plants up. Now they're deeper than I had them buried originally because, again, my landscaper Leeks came and he basically filled these beds to the brim. And so that included the plants that were already in here. I'm trying to carefully find out how deep they go. And I don't want to damage them as I pull them out. All right, I've reached the mulch layer. And gently pull it out. There we go. Wow, look at this root ball. Oh my goodness gracious. It is huge. All right, we're gonna put it down here. So this is a Scotch bonnet pepper plant. This is a 3-year-old plant. I purchased it at my Master Gardener's plant sale 3 years ago. It was listed as a salsa pepper. So it is a hot pepper. Because I'm in zone 9B, it overwinters. We barely have any frost days, and they keep going the next year, which is really awesome. All right, let's do the salsa pepper. If you hear them, the chickens are hanging out. I'm letting them get their last days outside of the run before summer hits, because of course, if they're out here when I have all of my plants in the raised beds, they will eat them. There we go. We have a cayenne and there's a Scotch bonnet on the other side. These peppers are going to experience transplant shock, unfortunately. There's really nothing I can do. Wow. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is the largest root ball yet. Wow. This one was my best cayenne pepper plant. And it's still, you can still see all the flowers on it. It's got ripening peppers on it as well. Really awesome. This one did so well. All right, let's get the second cayenne. There we go. Wow. Now I know why these cayennes did so well, because their roots are so huge. Look at this. Get the Scotch bonnet out. Now I have 2 Scotch bonnets in this bed, and I purchased 2 more because Scotch bonnets in my area have gone up to $9 a pound, and we use them in our cooking all the time. We, as in my mother. I grow the things and she cooks the things. Oh, I just snapped the bottom. That's sad. And you can see, much smaller root ball, much smaller plant. I'm hoping that it gets firmly established this summer. Hot peppers, it takes them a while to get going, and especially Scotch bonnets, they're Jamaican Scotch bonnets. They're from the Caribbean. They love heat all the time, and even though we've got good weather, we don't have heat all the time. All right, here we go. Okay, we did really well. I am just spreading some fertilizer throughout this bed. This is slow release fertilizer. And over the next weeks, it will break down in the soil and feed the plants. Now we've got leeks in this bed as well, which is great because alliums do keep insects away. They tend not to like the smell. And so I am companion planting with alliums this year. To lower the transplant shock of these peppers, I'm going to moisten the soil. That way, they're going to go into nice, welcoming soil. It'll be nice and moist for them, and it will help them adjust to their new home. One thing I'm also thinking about is where I'm gonna put the new peppers. Those are smaller plants. They're going to go in the front, so the sun comes in this direction. It'll hit the smaller pepper plants and then the larger ones. If I put the larger established plants in the front, they would shade out the plants in the back. So these are things that you want to think about as you are planting your raised beds. Some of these holes are going to be really substantial because these root balls are huge. It's getting dark, unfortunately, so you won't be able to see everything, but I will come back tomorrow and show you the finished results. Now the soil is wonderfully moist, and I'm going to keep moving things around so that I can have a large hole here for this root ball. Now, not all of this soil is wet, so I will water in some more after I get this pepper plant in. All right, cayenne. Oh, that taproot. Let's get that in there. When you think it's deep enough, it's not. Keep going. That is much better. Taproot down there. Wonderful. And now we can cover it up. All right, I will come back tomorrow to show you all the finished results. Hey everyone, it is the next day, and the chickens got out as per usual. I try to keep them from coming out of the run, but they just get by me. So they're having fun digging up mulch and making a general mess, and I am going to finish this bed. So I've got 2 more Scotch bonnet pepper plants. One is really sad. This one is looking really good. The other one just got a bit too much sun. It is what it is. It will come back to life. But it's very droopy. You can see the difference between this lovely one and this one. So I'm going to plant them both. My favorite nursery is right by my church, so on Sunday I might go and see if they have any other Scotch bonnets and get another one, because that way I could have 4 going across. Right now I'll just have 3. So the established plants from last year are in the back, and the new Scotch bonnets are going to be at the front. Alright, and we're just going to cover it up. I mixed in fertilizer into the soil last night, and let's do this one. So if I get a 4th one, I'll put it over here. I have 2 squash I started from seed. One is a kabocha, one is a butternut. I've never grown butternut before, so it's a new one for me. And kabocha, we grew this last year, it did really well. We just pulled out the last one from the freezer and made pumpkin soup with it. So this is a staple for us, and I was so proud that my pumpkin soup was made with vegetables from my garden. The kabocha squash, a leek from right here, 2 onions, garlic, carrots, cabbage, all from the garden. So that's one of my huge gardening dreams that came true. So kabocha and butternut squashes in general, if you're going by the square foot gardening method, they take 2 square feet worth of space. I'm gonna put it at the edge here, and that way it could kind of branch around as needed. Is the butternut. I'm really proud of myself. This is my first year starting plants from seed, and that's in the midst of me going on work trips and being out of the state for a while. So we've got some success stories. We are back to finish this project. I have got mulch from last year. This is straw mulch. There are some dry leaves in here as well, but I use the straw mulch to mulch my beds. Mulch has lots of different benefits. One, it covers the soil so that nature will not cover it for you with weeds. So it is a natural weed suppressant. There's also some dried grass clippings in here. Mulch also keeps the soil at a cooler temperature. So obviously as things start heating up, this garden is in full sun all day long, and when it gets to be 90, 100 degrees, mulch can lower the temperature of the soil in your raised beds. And that keeps your plants from becoming stressed out in the heat. So mulching is really, really important. I get my straw mulch from Tractor Supply, but if you are wanting to save cost, you can definitely cut your grass and dry it out and use your dry grass clippings as your mulch. You could also use leaves. Just ensure that they are dry first before putting them on your beds. Because what can happen with grass is if it is still wet, it can block oxygen from getting to the soil and just create, like, over time, kind of a slimy mess on top of your raised beds. So I'm putting a good 2 to 3 inches down. So not only is it a weed suppressant and it also lowers the temperature of the soil, mulch also keeps your beds moist longer. So when you water, if you leave your beds uncovered, that water is going to evaporate very quickly in the sun. But the mulch creates a protective barrier and keeps the moisture from evaporating quickly. So when you mulch, you end up watering way less frequently, which is great. It saves on time, it saves on water, and it saves your water bill. So it is definitely a win-win. Make sure you mulch your beds. So important. So there you have it. We have our hot pepper bed ready to go for the summer. We have cayenne, scotch bonnet, and a salsa pepper in here, as well as some leeks. I'll be adding some flowers to this bed as well. We want to get pollinators coming into the garden, so keep an eye on that in a future video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you are all having a great time in your gardens, getting things ready for the summer. Feel free to watch a video above, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy gardening, everyone. Feel free to watch a video up above, and I will see you in the next one. Happy gardening, everyone.